Natalia, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me, Jenelle.
I'm super pumped because I found out about you through our mutual friend and podcaster, Haley. And I loved your episode with her. And I find I love chatting about that intersection of business, relationships, and how it all affects us. So I always say my two favorite things to talk about ever is business/money and love. So we got lots to talk about, obviously.
Right. I love love, and I can see you love love too.
I do, but I mean, I'm going to say a lot of limiting beliefs on this podcast, just the nature of the time of my life I'm in right now. I'm in the time of my life right now that I've put a pause on dating. And you can laugh and smile because even my friends like laugh as well. They're like, you can't just put like a timeline on this or put a pause on things. Like things have to happen naturally. And I feel like I am very focused on my career, at least for the next few months, where I'm definitely open to meeting people. Like I meet people all day long, just the nature of my job and the nature I'm a social person. But I've had people ask me out recently and I just stated right away, I just said, I'm not open to dating right now. Am I shooting myself in the foot?
No, you're not. Let me ask you a question. Were you attracted to those guys?
No, I wasn't.
There you have it. There
So
you have
whatever.
it. That's your answer.
So it was a nice no to be able to say like, well, I'm not even dating now anyways.
Yes.
Like a
Yes.
nice way of saying,
If you
yeah,
were
like no
attracted
thanks.
to those guys, you would have said yes. I
I
know.
know that's what my friends say. Even like my family too. They're like, "Oh, you're so career focused, but the moment you're interested in someone, you'll push all that aside." I'm like, "You might be right on that." Because like I said, when I was in Costa Rica, I met a lot of guys that I was very interested in, but it was also like I was also in vacation Jenelle mode. So I know it's not your expertise, but when it comes to feminine, masculine energy, I find when I'm in vacation mode, I'm full feminine energy.
Mhm.
But when I'm in living in Toronto working mode, I tend to default to masculine. So
So
I don't
what do
know.
you think it makes the difference in terms of what energy you lean on when you are on a vacation and when you are at home? What makes the difference? What can you notice?
I
That
find when I'm on vacation, I'm more open. I'm more open to like meeting people and kind of going with the flow a bit. When I'm in work mode, my schedule is pretty packed.
okay.
And there's not even really an opening unless it's my dream person. I'm not really allowing kind of any openings for anyone.
Okay. So it's a matter of time. You
Yeah.
you don't really have time when you are, so it's not a matter of energy, it's a matter of time. When we are at work, it's good to be on our masculine energy. Actually, to make things move forward in work,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be in our masculine energy. The masculine energy is the energy that is the external. It's
Yeah.
all about building, about creating, about reaching goals. It's linear. So one follows two, two follows three. It's all about creating and building and doing.
Mm-hmm.
So for our work, for our job, we need to be in that masculine energy. If
Mm-hmm.
we are not going to be able to get any traction.
Yeah.
We all willy-nilly and okay, I feel like doing it, I don't feel like doing it, or waiting. That's a big one, oh, I'm going to sit here and have all my visualizations and meditations and goals, but I'm going to wait.
Yeah. Business is not going to happen like that.
It's not going to happen like that.
Listening to your other podcast interviews, I learned that you did Landmark 20 odd years ago.
No kidding. Where did I say that?
You
Yes.
did. I've done Landmark before, so I'm very familiar.
Lovely. Okay, we're friends forever.
Yeah.
I have done.
It's like a minor cult, but like I know what you've learned and it makes sense kind of the path you've gone down because I know what is involved in those courses.
You know what I stand for, and I know what
Yeah.
you stand for. Oh my God, I have goosebumps. That's so great that you bring it up because in these 21 years that I have been living in the States, Landmark was my first self-development company that I did
Yeah.
work first of many.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have done tons of work, tons of retreats,
Mhm. And
Tony
that was
Robbins.
kind of your first like taste of it.
And there is nothing like Landmark to me.
what do you think, like 21 years later, like what are some of the themes and messages that have stuck with you? I know, like I did mine in 2018. I didn't do the whole coursework. I think I did the first 2 courses, but there are still some things that I take in my self-development world that is messages from Landmark. So any kind of themes or like learnings that still in this day stick with you?
A lot of things. I love
Yeah.
that. How much I love it and how much if I know somebody has a landmark, I know it's an extraordinary human being.
Yeah.
I know it. So there were a few things, a lot of things, but I would say the main thing to me was integrity.
Mm.
To me, it's integrity. Honoring your word, taking a stand for yourself, that who you are is your word. To me, that it's a daily thing. It never went away. It's like, if I'm saying I'm going to be there, I'll be there, usually early. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. And if I cannot do it, because come on, I'm just human, I reschedule, I commit,
Exactly.
I renegotiate, and I just love that. And so that was the main thing for me, the thing that is still embedded in me every day. I did have integrity before, I will say, but not at the level that it's
Yeah.
my word. What I say is who I am. My identity is completely attached to that. And I really, really like that. What about you?
That's one of the bigger ones. And for me, and I'm still working on this, like chronic lateness, like I'm bad for it. But one thing that I learned in Landmark, it's like you said, you're human, things are going to happen. But as long as you're communicating that, like both parties will be fine. And I find like nowadays, one of my biggest triggers in friendships, family, like relationships in general is lack of communication. I'm okay with things going wrong or you're not happy with something, but like, can you let me know that? And it's not because I get all this anxiety afterwards. It's more like I don't like the surprises of like, wait, what? Like, why didn't you just like say that to me? Or like, it's fine if you're going to be 2 hours later, or it's fine you can't hang out or you want a rain check, but like just say that. And I find like I have such a low tolerance for it since then.
Yes. Yes.
But the other big one, that's the main one that sticks with me, that really helped in my relationships communication, is the phrase, the story I'm telling myself is.
Right.
And that has helped so many problems and like miscommunication in my life. Especially in romantic relationships, because I mean, in romantic relationships, because that's what we're here to talk about, you run stories in your head all the time. Oh, he took 5 hours to text me back. I don't know if it's just a woman thing, but like as women, we go straight to Instagram, see if his follower count went up, assume he's cheating and assume he hates us. And it's like, maybe he's just working all day.
Yeah.
And like we spiral. Where does that come from? Is it insecurities? Is it self-worth?
It's just the way we are wired as humans. It's the way our brain works. So the way our brain works is we get bombarded every second with about 2,000 bits of information.
Yeah.
And we can only process, I think it's 200 or something like that. So a very, we get bombarded with a ton of information every second, and we can only process a tiny bit of that information. Otherwise, our brain gets fried.
Yeah.
So the way our brain biologically and evolutionary fix that problem, so our brains don't get fried like a computer. We have the event happening. He didn't text me as soon as I wanted him to text me.
Yeah.
That is the event. The event is meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
The event doesn't have absolutely any meaning. We give meaning to the events. So the event is he didn't text me as fast as I feel comfortable with him texting me. That's happening here. It comes to our brain, and our brain, because that's a lot of information, it deletes information. So some parts get deleted. Some other parts, it generalizes it. It puts it together with parts of the past, because our brain can only carry our past. It cannot carry the future. So it does all that thing. It's like a soup. It optimizes as much as it can so we can absorb some of the information and come up with an idea. And that comes out in the form of a thought.
Yes.
The thought, if it's a positive, the thought creates an emotion. And if it's a positive thought, will create a positive emotion. And if it's a negative thought, will create a negative emotion. So for example, if he didn't text us as fast as we wanted, the brain will delete, generalize, come up with a meaning, even if it's, whatever. And the thought could be, oh, he's cheating, negative. Yeah. The emotion will be betrayed. And the emotion will create a motion, which is an action, motion. The emotion will create an action, and the action will be, I'm going to text him and tell him what I think of him and send him to hell and tell him I want to.
Yeah.
And that creates another event, and it's a cycle. Or if the thought is, oh, he must be busy, I'm going to go and take a nap, or I'm going to go and take a walk. I'm going to call my friend. I'm going to finish this work, whatever, AKA, I'm going to do something for myself.
Yeah.
The emotion is going to be, okay, I'm cool. I feel chill. The action will be, I'm going to go and mind my own business. He's going to call me when he gets time, when he has time. And then another action is going to be like, he's going to text me and we are going to go out again, and it's going to go upward. So we can go upward spiral, or we can go downward spiral. The mechanism per se of how it happens doesn't have anything to do with who we are as human beings. It doesn't have anything to do with how confident or not confident, how traumatized we are, or how, whatever. It's the way it works. Now, the interesting process is what happens here when we delete, generalize, put things together. There we can do something. Because if we don't like the thoughts we are having, aka the meaning we give to the event, we can change that at this level. And the way we do it is we reprogram our brain. Actually, there is a super famous guy, Joe Dispenza.
Yes, he's very familiar. Yeah.
So the way the brain comes up with thoughts and all that is through synapses. The neurons connect to electric synapses. Every thought we have creates a pathway. And we have been thinking let's say we are 30 years old, and we have been thinking for 15 years now that men are cheaters. That's where we go. That pathway, men are cheaters, is like a highway.
And it's going fast.
It's going fast. There is
and we're always finding proof points.
Right. We are looking for evidence.
We're looking for them.
We make ourselves right, because that's the other thing, that we want to be right. We don't want to be wrong.
No.
Human beings, and we will go out of our way to be right. So what we do when we reprogram our brain, we start to add concepts and beliefs and ways of being that create new neuronal pathways. So little by little, when you think, oh, he must be cheating, you go, is that true? Can I really confirm right now that he's cheating? The answer 99% of the time is no. And you go like, okay, so take a deep breath in. You can self-regulate your nervous system. Make sure you're safe. Look around. I'm safe. Yeah, I'm safe. Because our reptilian brain is going crazy. So take a deep breath. Just, you're safe. You're good. What else could this mean? And then
we got no thought for that. We default to the worst case scenario and default to what we make up in our heads.
Right.
Most times.
Unless you have done the work.
Yeah.
If you do the work, the kind of work I offer, the kind of work Landmark offers, you are aware. So you are not blindsided anymore.
No.
Not something that you don't know. It's not like your unconscious mind ruling your life all the time. You bring it to the surface, and then you have a choice to choose. And then I'm not saying it's simple, it's easy, but it's pretty simple, choose. And that's how I changed my situation.
Yeah,
from
well, I was gonna say, like, I feel knowing your backstory, like you went through divorce, you caught him cheating on you, a lot of betrayal, a lot of lack of loyalty. And I know like loyalty is very important to you. And it's, yeah, that would obviously lead someone into a pattern of I hate men,
right.
of course. And basically a lack of trust. Like you went through all of those paths,
I did.
obviously.
I did. And when I found my ex-husband in my house with another woman, in all honesty, I made it mean that it was a blessing. I
See?
right away. I
Because
said,
you know how most people in that situation would make meaning out of that. I'm wrong.
yeah,
I'm not beautiful. I'm not doing enough. It becomes a self-worth thing.
yes. We make it about ourselves.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, there was, I don't know, relationships are between two people, but that particular situation, a man that cannot stay faithful, it doesn't have anything to do with us.
Try that on for size, hey? That the people listening right now, that's a new neural pathway.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with us. A man that cannot be faithful, then I came to find out. I didn't when I found out this and I made it mean that it was a gift and that it was my way out to build a new, better life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know his past, how he had
Ah.
cheated on another woman.
So he has his own pattern.
I was actually the one he cheated with to the ex.
Oh,
I had no
I had no
idea.
idea.
But then, you start to associate and you're like, oh, so I was the one.
I was the other woman first.
Right, right.
It tends to happen that way sometimes.
Because very seldomly a man that cheats is not going to cheat again.
I know.
That's one of my bigs. I don't have a lot of no-nos in my way of work, in my coaching program, but I have a few. And one is a man that cannot be, and this is not from my own experience, it's just what I have learned through years, years of doing this and experiences of other women and all that. A man that cannot stay faithful, we have to stay away from them. A man that is an addict, that is an addict to drugs, alcohol, gambling, pornography, we have to stay away from them. I'm not saying a man that is an alcoholic and he put himself through a recovery program and he's sober. That's a different story. Those men are usually great.
Yeah.
Than the personal development work. The Alcoholics Anonymous, they have the 12-step program. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I guess that answers my question. If someone has cheated a bunch in the past and tends to get into that pattern, no matter what relationship they're in, do you think they can change?
I think they can. I truly believe everybody can. It's just they have to do the work. It's not something that if they are cheating and they come to us and say, oh, I'm going to change, and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No. Okay, you can say, okay, you're going to change. Great. What are you going to do? Show me the steps you're going to take, and I'm going to give you time.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to another place. I was talking with a client the other day, and she's having a very bad situation with her husband. They are living under the same house, under the same roof. They're separated. They have been separated for 3 years, pretty much.
Wow.
And she's a doctor, a medical doctor, so she's making good money. It's not that
Why is she staying?
Because she wants the house. She wants to stay in the house. That's what she's saying.
Buy him out.
Or she can move out.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't move out because I don't have enough money. That's what she was saying. I don't have enough money and I have the 2 kids and all that. And I said, when I found my ex with another woman, I moved out.
Within the hour.
And yes, I survived on rice and beans for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I had to pay rent on my own and all that. But this is the only life we have.
Yeah.
This is not a test. This is not something that we get
That's
to
what I say all the time.
As far as we know, this is it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is some, but why?
But let's operate like this is it for now.
Yeah. So yes, I know it's hard. I know, it's not ideal, but I will do it again. because I got my dignity, I got my freedom, and and I got to reinvent myself and my life in a way that, that I was free of anger. I was free of resentment. Those are things that we can choose. Those are the only things we can choose, actually. It's what we do with our mind and our heart and our body. The rest, what he does, we can't. It's just can't. So if he comes and says, yes, honey, I love you, I'm sorry, I really see that I hurt you and I hate myself for that. Well, he doesn't have to hate himself for that, but I'm gonna go to therapy once a week. I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna do that. And and if you wanna move out, and I will wait, and I will win you again. I will show you. Great. Any other situation, it's just, it's not going to change.
No.
Not going to change because it's too easy for him.
I'm curious. You mentioned when you found your husband cheating on you, you saw it as a blessing. Were you maybe before that, like wanting a different life, wanting something new?
The relationship went sour.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't really treating me as I deserved and as I expected. So up until the time when we were dating, before we got married, everything was awesome. Like,
of course.
It was phenomenal. Like, super romantic, fun, traveling, all the fun things. But once we got married, everything changed dramatically for the worst.
Wow.
So that was something that I wasn't really happy with. Because the men I had met and I had fallen in love with became, another person that he wasn't very happy. He wasn't very happy with me and all that. So yes, there was that.
When that happened, I'm sure you thought to yourself, I have a reason to get out of this.
Right.
Good. Instead of making it a fight over nothing with no proof.
Right.
No pushback.
To me, it was crystal clear. It's now or never.
But how do you go from feeling that betrayed and losing trust in relationships to finding healthy and epic love again?
Yes, it was an interesting time where, at that point, I just got very real. Up until that point, my life had been all about peak performance, high performance, how to be my best self, how to be aligned with my highest self at all levels. I have always been an entrepreneur, very independent, moving to different countries, learning different languages. I have always been very like a go-getter and at level I could. And that was my life. That was what my life was about, but not about relationships. So when that happened, I couldn't not see anymore what was going on with my relationships. By that point, I had been in relationships for over a decade, and they had all failed. I was dating guys that they were choosing me. If I liked the guy, I would just crumble and get super like insecure and not go after him. So I would pretty much date guys that were interested in me. They were great guys, amazing guys, and all that, but there was never that,
attraction. Those guys you're talking about, if you wrote down like the guy that you actually wanted to be with, it was not those people.
No, they were safe.
Yeah, I resonate.
Yes.
Great guys, but not for me.
Very safe because I didn't have anything to lose, because I wasn't 100% in. So what happened is I remember, I will never forget, I am sitting in my car and I am like, just kind of like in shock and thinking, okay, Natalia, what is the common denominator in all these failed relationships that you have had? And the common denominator was loud and bright and, it was yelling at me, it's you, it was me. That was the common denominator. And that's very landmark as well.
Yes.
And so I said, okay, so I'm going to do the work on my own relationships. I'm going to get my relationships straight. And I went in it full force as I am, like 100%, 1,000%. So yes, and at that time I was friends with some women, and we started a group of that we were coaching women.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time that I was doing the work on myself, I started to help other single women with their dating and relationships. So I did
How old
that.
are you at this time, and how old are you when you're going through that divorce?
All that happened when I was about 32, between 32 and 35.
The pivotal time of your life.
Right. It's a time where, you're as a woman, if you haven't had kids, that's the time to have kids. And, so now I am so happy when most of the women I work with are under 20s. And that's actually the kind of women I like to work with the most, because I know that we have a window for certain things as women.
We do.
We have a very specific window. That doesn't mean that we cannot adopt and all that, but if you want to have your own kids, you better have your act together by age 30.
I know.
You know.
No pressure on women at all, but yeah, that is what we deal with and what we think about all the time.
Right. Although now technology, not now, for a while now, technology has come a long way. You can freeze your eggs and all that, but that's not available to every woman. That's
No,
extremely
it's expensive.
very
I have
expensive.
those conversations with girlfriends of mine. And yeah, one of the girls, she's a bit younger than me, but she's planning on freezing her eggs just because she's going to go do more schooling and her career. And thankfully, she's in a position to afford it. But like, I wouldn't be spending money on that.
Well, good for her. I have had friends and clients.
She's young. She's not even 27 yet.
Yes. Well,
but she's in a financial position to be able to do so. So she's saying, why not? It's not going to hurt.
Absolutely. I completely support it. It's not for everybody.
I mean, that's even if I did have the money, I don't think I'd invest it there. Like, I don't think I'd spend the money there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to just see how life plays itself out. And if it's too late and I can't have kids, then I guess that's it. That's the situation.
Yes. Well, hopefully you'll figure it out. I know you will figure it out.
I'm not worried.
You can call me, I'll help you.
Yeah, I'm not worried. It'll all figure itself out. I'm curious though, when all these women, you say you probably work with most women in their 20s, 30s, what's happening in their mind or in their situation that they finally say, enough is enough, I'm going to chat with Natalia? What's their breaking point before they come to you?
It's just mostly the continuous going out and dating and not meeting, high quality men. They don't have a problem meeting men and attracting men, but it's just meeting that special man where they can have something else than just, sex and a house. And they want to have connection. They want to have a fulfilling relationship, intimacy, good conversations, shared interests. It's not only at the survival level where, back in the day that was enough. They have higher needs, more spiritual needs. They want to have a great relationship. Yeah. Seen and heard, and it's hard for them to find somebody like that. So that's when they come to me. Then there is another group of women that are recovering from a breakup, or they are in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And they figure out and they need help with
getting
that.
out.
So
a lot of people stay in those relationships because they don't have this big reason to get out, like someone cheating on someone or something, but they're just like very stagnant and they don't know how to break up with someone that really hasn't done anything wrong.
Right.
I think that's harder than, say, your situation where you're coming home and they're way harder.
Exactly.
You're breaking someone's heart that didn't actually do anything wrong.
Yes. Well, mediocrity is the worst.
I know.
Worst. So
some people would rather that than change and confrontation.
And that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Being honest with you at this point in my life, and I have always thought a little bit like this, but we are all necessary, and we are all fulfilling a mission in this life. And if they want to stay in that place and it's all right. It's
Yeah.
their journey, it's their path. And not everybody has to be in an amazing relationship. Not
Mhm.
everybody really wants it. Most women want to be in a great relationship,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
but it's not enough. Most people want to have $1 million. Is that
Yeah.
enough to have $1 million? Most people want to live in a place like the United States. Is that
Mhm.
enough? No. You have to really, really want it.
Mm.
You have to be committed. When I
Mhm.
came to the United States, when I decided to make that move, I didn't just want it. It wasn't just something like,
Maybe, yeah.
to maybe, yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice.
You wanted
No,
it.
I wanted it. I came here. I got English books on the first 2 days I was here. I started working with Americans right away. I
Mhm.
didn't have a Latin friend for the first 5 years because I just
And
wanted
you
that.
chose that
Yes, of
because
course.
you would default back and just speaking Spanish and just yeah.
If I wanted, I moved to South Florida. I could have had an Argentinian family because over there.
Yeah. And yeah, you're really not like living the life that you dreamed of.
Right. So I said no. And it was hard. Of
Of
course, it was
course.
hard. And, and I had to leave everything. And it was hard. But it's the same thing with relationships.
Mhm.
The fact that there is a lot of it will be nice. And they don't even know that they are in that spectrum.
Yeah.
To have a great relationship, you have to want it. You have to be committed to it. It's work. It's fun work, but it's work. You need to make it a priority. You have to really keep working on your inner life. You need to communicate at a deep level. You need to know how to communicate at a deep level.
Mm.
Some women like me, I had this desire and this yearning inside of me up until, I started doing the work. But I didn't even know how it looked like
Mm.
because I have never had it or had a model for it. So, you can have an idea of what you want, but if you don't have a picture of it and you have never done it before, you have never had it before, how do you get there? And they
Mhm.
don't teach this stuff in schools.
Of
They
course,
don't.
of course
They
not.
don't teach it in movies. They don't. I mean, most romantic movies are horrible. They're
Yeah,
horrible.
they are.
Movies are super, super messed up.
I mean, if you can watch a movie and still like recognize like this is toxic, I mean,
No,
that's okay.
that's correct. Because yes, the problem is that most people don't do that.
No,
You know,
God, no.
if you're very young and you don't have a good role model and you're a little bit lost and you don't know what love about is about and relationships are about, you see that, and there is a possibility that you could believe that that is all right.
Yeah,
Being treated as a present, it's all right.
but it's
So
not
many women use their body to get to a
what they
man,
want.
and that doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
That doesn't work. So,
Do you have any client success stories that come to mind that make you really happy and proud of your work?
yes, yeah, well, all of them,
Yeah,
all
of
of
course. Any
them.
that really stand out?
There was this lady, she was, she was single in her
Mhm.
early 30s, and she wanted to get married. And she was attracted to guys that were players. That was her thing.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's complex. I don't want to water it down, but I can give you one reason why we do
Yeah.
that, but it's not that simple. It's a lot
Yeah.
of
What is it? What's the main like simplified
main
reason?
reason is that when we are dating a guy that is not reliable, it triggers this sense of excitement inside of us that we confuse with attraction.
Ah,
So that's why when the guy he doesn't commit, he comes in and out, he doesn't show up and all that, it creates this sense of aliveness, of excitement. We get hooked to that adrenaline rush.
mm,
Not really the relationship, is the
the high.
high. It's a high.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
when we meet a good guy, like what happened to her, eventually she came up with her vision of what she wanted for real, what she really wanted. And after a lot of deep work, she came up with what was really making her heart sing. And then we compared, is this guy he fits into that vision? No way.
No.
Wouldn't put in your vision that you want a guy that doesn't call you, that,
Of course not. Yeah.
So then she saw that there was a guy around her that was a great guy and that was reliable, but he wasn't as exciting.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so they got married and they're still married. So yeah.
A lot of times people confuse healthy with boring.
Right. And that's why
I've done it many times. I become bored and I leave and I end the relationship. Then I think back like, oh, that guy really treated me well. Oh, yeah, that probably would have been a good one. But I was bored.
Right.
And then you get caught up in a player and then you realize, oh God, this is too much on my nervous system. Then you go back to boring and like it's hard to find the middle sometimes, I think.
Yes. Well, it's if you follow my way, the ways I mentor my clients, it's not as hard because we come up with a pace in the relationship. So the pace really, the steps are always the same. Now the pace, when I am a runner, so there is a pace for running. If I decide to run a marathon at a pace that is too fast for me, at mile 6, I'm going to die. I'm done. But if I know my pace and I know my style and I know how long it takes me to open up, to feel safe, to trust somebody and all that, I can go, I have done 100 miles. So
good point.
Like I follow my own pace. I do not I never look back, ever. I don't look back, and I don't follow the pace of somebody that is ahead of me because it's not my pace. It's not my pace. I do the same thing with relationships. So the steps are all the same. Now the pace, the pace is you get to know the guy, of course. You need to know him. Okay. So you know him, you meet him, whatever, you date him. Then you find evidence if you can trust him. So you know him, then you trust him. Women are like, oh, I have trust issues. Because sometimes we don't follow these steps. We do them backwards. Once we trust him, we rely on him. He's reliable. So you see, you keep building the relationship. The relationship takes time to develop. It takes time to develop a relationship, and it takes at least 3 months to develop a relationship. It's more like 5, but it takes about 3 months for any pattern to show up. If they are going to have a pattern, that's the key. So, so you know them, you trust them, you rely on them, and then you become exclusive. Up until that point, you are dating other guys. You are going out with your friends.
Thank you for saying this, because people become exclusive. And I've done this in the past. Girls are letting themselves become exclusive after like 4 dates and then wonder why relationships end within 2 to 3 months. It's because people show their true colors.
Right. It's because it's not only that they do it after 4 dates, it's that they don't explain to the guy what being exclusive means to them. So they get in a relationship based on assumptions. I assume that this means this, and men are in a completely different universe.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
Yeah, and we can go over that if you want. But
so some days I wonder, like, oh my God, like what is even attractive about men sometimes? Like some days I wonder, truly. Because they are a different species.
Well, yeah, different, but they're amazing. Yeah.
They are.
I didn't say what I said in a bad way. I should say it's different.
They're very different.
Know that. We need to know that they are different, because if we don't know that they are different, we cannot accept them as they are. We are going to make it all about ourselves. Right. So if he comes home and he's not talking to us, we're going to be like, oh my God, it's about me. I did something wrong, or I'm not good enough, or I'm too much, or I'm invisible, or, whatever place we go. And actually, some men, most men need a little bit of time to switch gears as much as we do to switch from masculine to feminine. They need to switch gears too. If they're coming from work, the man cave is a thing because it's real.
Yeah.
Some men don't need it. There is a spectrum. And some men need it a
Definitely
lot.
need it. Yeah, I agree with that.
Everything in between. So anyway, and once we are exclusive, we are on the same page, knowing what being exclusive means. We may need to say something like, hey, Peter, yes, I would love to be exclusive with you. Now you need to know something about me. When I am exclusive with a man, I expect a little bit more. So I make it a little bit more needy.
Yeah, of course.
And I will need to see you twice a week, and I will need to hear from you calling me every day.
Of course. If I'm your girlfriend, I want to hear from you every day, of course.
But women don't say that.
Yeah, and they just have these expectations and expect them to know it.
That's what's going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. And well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, and then once we are exclusive, that's when we have sex. And when we have sex, we also have a conversation. Maybe not the first time, because the first time maybe, you're too hot, you're too passionate, whatever.
Yeah.
We do have a conversation also about what sex means to us. Hey, Peter, when I have sex, I really get attached to the men a lot more. It's a very profound and deep experience for me. It's not just a sport. So I want you to know that to me, this is something very special. And it's all about communicating those steps. So we know that we are on the same page, and he knows where you are at. Because most men are great men. Most men are. They're amazing. They just don't know what we are thinking because we don't communicate.
Of course not.
We talk a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We communicate these things I'm saying right now. We rarely say them. And those are the important things. So we are taught to do, or it's all the opposite. We meet the guy and we have sex and we get exclusive. And then,
we don't even know him.
We don't even know him. So, and then for women, and I feel very strong about this. There may be other people that don't feel this strong. I don't know. For me, this is the truth. For women, we biologically, I know we like to think of ourselves as, spiritual beings, have human experience and all that. And I believe in that. Now, we are also animals.
Of course.
Biology. And in a biological way, we are made to mate and reproduce.
Of course.
So our bodies are geared towards getting attached to a man
to be able to have babies. I agree. When you break it down to a biological standpoint, of course.
So I have heard way too many women telling me, oh no, I can have my boy toy, they call it, I'm good. I'm like, I haven't met one woman that is all right to that yet, but hey, prove me wrong.
I can do that too, but only with guys I don't ever plan on dating. And I don't ever plan on really caring for and falling for. I can absolutely just hook up.
But how many times can you see them?
I'm probably bored of them pretty quickly anyways. But like I can have sex with someone and it mean nothing to me, but only with guys I don't actually like.
Yes. Okay.
Because there's nothing in me that's going to become attached to them because I don't see them as like a partner.
And it's probably more like a one. So you're not attracted to them. I don't know what you're doing, having sex with them, but
no, I mean, if like I just don't plan on like dating them.
Okay, and it's probably a one night stand or something,
or like friends that like we just end up hooking up, but like I'm like I would never like see you as something more than this. So it doesn't mean anything. Okay, you disagree?
If you're saying, that that's happening to you, I have never met a woman that has been having sex with one guy and not getting involved with him. And if they like him, I
I
haven't.
will say it's only like, yeah, if that happens, it's only a couple times. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
it's
And
either,
you are not really attracted to them.
yeah.
Okay.
So then I'm either like, I'm not even attracted to you. The sex isn't good. So like, I don't need to do this. Or, oh, damn, I know I'm going to catch feelings and I don't think we're going to get in a relationship. So let's stop. So you're right, ultimately.
Yes. Yes. I mean, any woman that has sex with a guy that she's attracted to it and that they are seeing him like weekly or something like
Yeah.
that.
You're in a relationship. You're kidding yourself if you don't think you are.
Then they get upset because he doesn't call them for their birthday or whatever.
Yeah. Or wish me happy Valentine's Day. And it's just like, he's not your boyfriend.
Right.
You're doing everything like a relationship, but you've never had that conversation. So
Right. It's yeah. So yes, that's pretty much what we do now. You know, we have sex first and then we expect.
I know exclusivity and the courting afterwards.
Yeah. And
I know. It's nice to hear from you a more traditional approach because I mean, we're in 2023. Like, even when you and I had the conversation yesterday, like you had to specify, okay, our conversation is going to be cis women liking cis men. And like, we're in a world now where we had to specify that if that's the conversation about to happen. And it's nice to hear sometimes a more traditional approach because if someone's listening right now to any kind of relationship advice and they're a woman that's looking to date a straight man, a lot of the advice is a little bit muddled out there now. I don't think you can blanket it as much as you could before. You know what I mean?
right now there is there is a lot going on regarding sex. It's anything.
A lot of dynamics, like a lot more dynamics than there ever was.
And I am very good at what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and I limit myself to what I'm good at.
Of course. Yeah. You never want to be everything for everyone. Like even in my career, I'm very clear on the client that I represent, the location, the budget point, and I don't want anything else. There's someone else that can help you with that. And the same as you.
Absolutely. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in that.
No, it's just not what I specialize in. You can only handle so many clients and conversations at once.
And it's a complicated subject because it's so individual. That's why I am still working. I only do one-on-one work, and I am limited in the amount of people I can take because. But it's so personal. We are all so different.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of work, that to do a good job, I feel like personalized work is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, on group settings, it dilutes a lot. Some people take over the group. Some people don't ever talk.
Yeah. One-on-one is better.
Yes, for this kind of work, I like one-on-one best.
Yeah. To start closing it out, anyone listening today that's kind of struggling with dating, what's one thing that they can change this week that would at least get them on the path of epic love? They're like similar to our beginning conversation, no trouble attracting people, but not the ideal person they're looking for.
Right. So if that is happening, usually it's a matter of commitment. It's a little bit of a challenge with commitment. So they are not really, really ready. They are attracting the wrong person because they are not ready. When they're ready and they're clear on what they want and they believe they can have it and they believe it's happening for them and they take action, it will happen.
You're right.
When that is not in place, when they are not clear on what they want, and usually if we don't have clarity, it's because we don't have confidence that we can get it. It starts with
great reminder
to be confident enough that what we want is going to happen, that if we have the desire inside of ourselves, is there to be fulfilled. I don't know if people believe in God or the universe. There is an intelligence. Could be God, could be the universe. I don't know. But, there is an intelligence that creates everything in this life. And it creates what we want and what we don't want. And it also creates, in the same creation of the desire, the fulfillment of the desire is built inside. When we don't have the confidence, the clarity, the faith, the belief that we deserve it, and this is the truth, who we are is enough to be loved. In relationships and in love, we don't have to do anything. We don't. It's not at the level of objects. Who we are is enough. We, as women, we bring enough value to the life of a man. Men live very boring lives in a way, very gray,
Yeah. Very one-dimensional, I like to say.
Right. I always like
so
say,
one-dimensional.
If you go to a men's, you that you like to hang out with your dates, go to their bathroom and see, you will go to their bathroom and go to their shower, and they have one bottle that they bought at Trader Joe's that is body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and moisturizer all in one. And
so bad.
Go to my bathroom. I have,
everything.
5 different shampoos, one for color, one for so many things. A brush for this, a brush for that, a cleanser for this, a cleanser for that. It's like we bring the universe to them. We bring color, we bring music, we bring our feminine energy, we bring our stardust, we bring that. So it's beautiful. They really crave to be with us. Up to us to believe that we have it, and also that we have it in ourselves, to be very feminine and open and share our light with the men, but also have a very strong backbone and put a boundary when we need to, So
I love Latin American women. I just think they're the best of both worlds. I just think they're feminine energy with no bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like it's the ultimate package, I always found. Don't you agree?
I don't know.
I just find Latin American women are very feminine, but they have the spice that I love. Or they're not, like they'll take a lot, but if you cross that line, you will know.
And that's exactly what I teach them. It's like, just be soft on the outside. The only way we can make out with a guy with gusto and enjoy it and really, really have a good time is if we also have the confidence that when the time is up, if we don't want to have sex, we can say, this was enough for me today.
Yeah, gotta go.
That's it. If we cannot place those boundaries and share our needs and what we want and what we don't want, we are always going to be scared and not showing our light. So the idea is to just show who you are to the world. Trust yourself that the woman you are becoming will catch you. You'll be safe. We live in a safe world, most of us here in the States, where you can be yourself and just be happy, but having a backbone, because the age of doormats is over.
I agree. Natalia, last question for you. Obviously, you are married and very happily married. What's one thing that you do daily, weekly in your relationship to keep it epic?
I like to go on like a quarterly trip with him.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I like.
How long? Like a week, long weekend, or
3 days?
4
days. Doesn't have to be that long, but just usually no phones. Like just no internet, like fireplace, things like that. Just
to be connected for 4 days. 4 or 5 days.
Hikes, waterfalls, like we are very outdoorsy and active, so we can go to the Grand Canyon and hike. We live in a beautiful area here. We are blessed. We actually have the Grand Canyon on one side. We had the beach, California on the other side. We have Utah above. So we are really outdoorsy and we like to do that. And then day to day is just appreciating. A good guy, when you appreciate a good guy, when he does something good, he wants to do more for you.
One-dimensional, remember? But I love it. I don't know if I can handle any more dimensions from a man, to be honest. One is enough. Natalia, thank you so much for being here. I feel like the women, especially that listen to this podcast, everything you're giving right now is gold. It's what they need to hear, whether they're single, in a relationship or not. I I think women in their 20s and 30s, like I said, happily married, engaged, or single, you're all kind of balancing and struggling with the same thing. So I feel like you reminded us a lot of what we really needed to hear today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate being here, and I appreciate your audience. And yes, and talking about love is my favorite thing to do.
And anyone listening, Natalia, where can they find you best if they want to connect further?
Instagram at Epic Love Coach. I have a link on my bio where they can go to my website, to my Calendly, I have a free resource there too, my newsletter, YouTube channel, all is there.
All of it. Oh, I love it. Thank you again.
Thank you.